Welcome to This Week in Real Estate with Jonathan Harmon. Listen in as him and other members of the J Harmon Home Team speak about all things real estate with local experts here in the Middle Tennessee area. Be sure to check out jharmonhometeam.com for more information and how to get in touch with our amazing team. Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show indeed. Good morning. It's Jonathan Harmon with the J Harmon Home Team, powered by Keller Williams. And I've got a full table today, Trent. This is exciting. Oh, Trent is earphoneless, so we're just going to, I'm going to read his sign language for you. He just said, keep rolling, stop talking to me. Okay, you got it. Got it, no problem. But I did ask Trent how his Panthers were doing. I started this last week, and I feel like I need to just keep going with it because I actually, it's like the bully at school, right? Like, the bully is the bully because they're actually insecure about their own life. Yeah. So as a Titans fan, I feel like I can bully a Panthers fan. Does that make sense? Because I'm actually very insecure about being a Titans fan, but at least we're not the Panthers.
Yeah, we almost did it last night.
I know. It was close, but no cigar, as they say. Yeah, especially with the stupid Colts. The only thing worse than them is the Ravens, I think. Yeah. Anyways. So like I said, I've got a full table here, and I am so excited. I've got my trusty sidekick, Miss Michelle Reeves. Woo! We used to have an applause button. I don't know if we still have that.
Oh, that's okay.
We used to have a studio audience that would applaud, but we had to use a smaller studio. And then we've got Tyler and Elias from Perfecto Plumbing. And man, I am excited to talk with you guys and hear about your great business that you guys have, and the work you've done some work for me on several occasions, and
for me
and for Michelle, and one of my goals in life, in real estate specifically, but in life in general, is that I always want to be the I know a guy, right? Okay. Like, I want people to call me for any kind of referral, right? House related or not, right? Who's a great mechanic? Who's a great, alterations person? I have a great seamstress, believe it or not. It's kind of cool.
That's so odd to me, but yeah, I get it.
She fixed a purple coat for me because I wasn't going to get another purple coat. Don't ask why I have a purple coat. Doesn't matter. And she's fantastic. But anyway, and anytime you call her, you also get a free gospel lesson, which is kind of outstanding.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, why not, right? And so anyway, and all of that. But probably the top maybe 3 or 4 most important things as far as referrals go. Got to have a great electrician, which I do. Ogles Electric, they're awesome. Got to have a great roofer, which I have actually 2 of them that I use for, depends on what it is. Got to have a great bug, pest, wildlife, mold, all of that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I do in AFI, pest and wildlife. And you got to have a great plumber.
Yes, sir.
And so I don't know if I think I told you this story, but I had a great plumber. His name is Earl Chandler. Okay. And Earl was the man, right? Earl was, I always picked on him, called him old man, and one day he was crawling out of a crawl space, and he was approaching retirement age. And I said, Earl, what am I going to do when you retire? I said, tell me you're training somebody to replace you. And he goes, man, nobody wants to work anymore. And I said,
a lot of that's true.
So true. Yeah. And so I got to know you guys through a referral. I'm trying to remember, was it Nick Howell maybe? Or David Criswell?
I'm not sure if you ever told me, but I remember the first job we did for you.
I know who exactly it was. It was Nick Sarabi.
Ah, okay.
Yep, yeah, it was Nick. So I knew it was one of those house flipper guys. But Nick is awesome, and if he trusts you guys, then I know that. And I contacted you. You remember the first job you did for me?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, of course I do.
So fixing a leak under your house. Yeah.
Well, that was the second job.
Is that the second job?
I think so. The first job was you did the repipe. Wasn't that you guys that did the repipe at MacArthur?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
It was the crappy PEX.
Oh, yes. The
Nibco.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was out there in, not MacArthur, it was on Reagan Drive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let's tell me the story about that stuff, because I actually had somebody call me Friday, I guess, and he ran into the same issue.
Okay, so back in 2008, I want to say, they came out with this brand of PEX called Nibco. And so the stuff literally would pop a pinhole leak after, especially on the hot side, when it would reach a certain temperature.
That's exactly where this guy that called me his
it
hotline.
reached a certain temperature, it would bust a pinhole leak or split.
Mm-hmm.
And so that stuff, of course, you can imagine how many houses got that NIPCO PEX here in Rutherford County as so many houses are getting built around here. And so they quickly found out that this stuff was bad. And so they stopped making it. And so now we got, all these calls of repipe and these, PEX.
And it was
basically,
if you had a house built, it was like 02 to 05 or something. Is that right? Somewhere in that?
No, this PEX came out in 2008.
Okay. But what it was is this stuff, it would sit on the yard and it was susceptible to degradation through UV light.
Okay.
And it would age out there and then it would get brittle.
Yeah, and the other PEX too, just like anything else, they make something and then as time goes on, they make better versions of it. It gets better and it gets better. And so now, we're using a grade A PEX now. And so the stuff is, literally the best stuff out there.
Well, and there was a class action lawsuit. Like it was a big mess. And to your point, I mean, that was when Rutherford County especially was in a building boom.
Oh, they were booming.
Whole neighborhoods had this junk, and there's and there's no fixing it.
Yeah, there's no fixing it. All you got to do is replace it. Just pull it all out and replace it all.
And of course that can be quite invasive.
It is. It's not an easy job, but we love what we do, and we get after it.
Well, let's talk about that. So, tell me about Perfecto. When did you guys start? Like, give me your history. Give me your origin story.
Okay, so I started the business. I'm the owner of the business, and I started the business in 2021. And so
you're a lot newer than I thought.
Yeah, I am. I'm up and coming plumber here in Murfreesboro and Rutherford County, but I've been doing plumbing since 2006. So I've been doing plumbing for around about 15 years or so. So, but finally went on my own, and I was like, if I don't go for it, I'm never gonna know if I can or not. So I stepped out on my own, and then 2022 was the best year so far, and then of course 2023. But we've been at it for a while, and so it's been great. It's been great. I enjoy what I do, and I love it.
And Tyler, what's your story?
I've done plumbing since about 2014. Started with a company in McMinnville, and then worked for another company in Chevyville, and then now I got hooked up with Elias last year about this time, and man, it's just been sky's the limit. We've been really getting after it, and here in Murfreesboro, it's growing so much. It's like I said, you can do whatever you want as far as you want to work.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So tell me, kind of, what is your business philosophy? Because there's a ton of plumbing companies, right? And they all kind of do their own thing. Some of them truly do their own thing, and you kind of scratch your head and go,
Yeah. Well, I like to think that the stuff that I do is the one thing I like to do is try to cut out the high price of all the big guys around here. A lot of these guys, not to mention any names, but they charge an arm and a leg anytime they do, anything. And so I like to come in and I like to eliminate, so much of the, if I'm going to do a job for you, I'm not going to charge you just to come out there and assess the problem. I'll do that for free, and then we'll do the job. So a lot of times these companies, they'll come and, they charge for every little thing that they do. And so I think that part of that has been, a little bit of my success is I try to be as fair as I can and honest and on time. A lot of people don't, realize that when somebody calls somebody and you say you're going to be there at 8 o'clock, be there at 8 o'clock, not at, not at 9, So I try to pride myself on that.
Well, and one of the things that happens now with so many, especially home service providers, and I kind of understand, but I think there's an obvious flip side to this, right? A lot of them now give you a window, right? Mm-hmm. Like, we're going to be there sometime between 8 and 10, noon or whatever. And it's like, dude, I got
stuff to do.
Yeah. And I understand, like, I know you probably open up a wall every now and then, and what should have been a 30-minute job becomes a 2-hour job. That happens, sure.
It happens.
And especially in older homes, like all the ones that I seem to own, and you show up to, and you're like, yeah, this is a whole lot worse than I thought.
Yeah, like the basement job, right?
Exactly. You know, and in that situation, I think people can understand it, but you got to communicate it. Right?
Yeah. If something happens where, you know, okay, we give you an estimate on what we think is gonna cost to fix this, but of course, if I open it up and there's something more than what we talked about, then of course, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I try my best to give everybody a fair price, and I think that's part of why I've been growing so much here in Rutherford County, is I try to be as honest as I can and give everybody a fair price.
Yeah. Tyler, what's the craziest thing you've seen so far?
Oh gosh. The craziest thing, I guess, is just the older homes and seeing, you know, I don't know if they was the plumbers back then or, you know, or what it was, but it was, you know, we could see some things that's kind of, you know, especially not up to code, and, you know, you got, you know, everything's falling in, and you're trying to fix, you know, one thing, and then you turn around and you got another thing, and then like you said with the NIPCO PECs, you know, I know of one home right now we've got that. How many leaks have you fixed, and it's still under there? They just want us to fix a leak, not replace it all.
And by the time they pay for all the leak repair,
You could have had it. Yeah, you could have had a repipe.
twice,
Yeah,
so,
you could have had a repipe.
Yeah. So it's
One of the craziest things I've ever seen was a backwards T. You know, a T has a sanitary T has a way of fall. You know, when it
this
drains.
is in a septic system, right?
Not a septic system. It was a drain. It
Okay.
was a draining wall, and the damn thing was backwards. It was backwards, falling the opposite way. And I'm like, wow, who does this? But you know, definitely a lot of crazy stuff.
And I bet it smelled great, didn't it?
Oh yeah, well, yeah, because it's not draining. It's
Yeah.
not draining right. So yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
A
that's
lot of
funny.
that stuff. Yeah.
Well, so from especially owning a couple of older homes, it is amazing how many different, like you can see the evolution of plumbing in my basement. And it's like, and here is cast iron, and here is galvanized, and here is here's a little copper just to throw it in there, right?
Yeah. Definitely a lot. There's always been you know, people making repairs, especially when it was galvanized, and then just trying to make a repair and then just using whatever they have to fix it.
So I have a confession. Are you ready?
Oh God.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready for this.
One of these days, you'll probably end up having to do this work. So I'm just going to go ahead and confess to it right now. Okay. So I have two houses that are back to back. One on East Main, one fronts East Main, one fronts Vine Street. Right? Okay. And you would think that the sewer typically would run to the road, right? Yeah. Well, what we discovered when I acquired the one on Vine Street is that those two properties were once one property. And so Vine Street was basically an alley. Yeah. Right? So when they built the street, where would you put the sewer? You'd put the sewer in the alley.
Goes to Vine Street.
Yeah. So, all right. So you ready for this? So the sewer line from the Main Street house goes directly under the Vine Street house. Wow. It doesn't go around it. Yeah. It goes under it. And the way we found that out, and it's a cast iron pipe, just so you know, the way we found that out is we were building a deck on the back of the Vine Street house, and I took my post hole diggers and I went clank
and found it
and knocked a hole in it.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, I wonder where that's coming from. And right about then, somebody was rinsing off a paintbrush in the Main Street house, and I saw white paint flow through the pipe, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah. I've actually found that out. You know, the blue house that we did that water heater on, well, I've done some work for the guy next door to you. Uh-huh. And his sewer goes to Vine Street on the backside.
Does it go through the middle of a house, though?
No, it don't go through the middle of the house. But you're correct. It go from Main Street, it's going back to Vine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird.
Well, I fixed that pipe with a soda can, and a rubber
saddle. Put a saddle type deal on it.
Yeah, and a soda can.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So
Yeah, we'll be fixing that here soon.
I MacGyvered that thing. All I needed was some chewing gum, and it would have been a total MacGyver job.
At least Elias has been forewarned.
That's it. That's why
He's going to ignore your call.
Confession on that. Oh, well, here's
Block that guy.
what will have to happen is we'll dig a whole new line, and we're just going to have to go around the house and just put a whole new line. That's the only way to fix it.
Yeah.
And it, I know it's going to happen. You know, it's just a matter of when.
When. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, there's no point in fixing that pipe.
Well, not right now. I mean, like you said, I would wait till it happens, so it completely goes out, and then do it. You know.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Even then, don't repair it. Just replace it.
Replace it.
Abandon it and replace it.
Abandon and replace it all the way through.
Yeah,
that's what I would do. Yeah,
for sure. All right, so let's talk about, with this being a real estate focused podcast, let's talk a little bit about homeowners right now. You know, we're starting to see weather change, all that kind of thing. What are some things I think most people know to disconnect their hoses? Do this for me. Why do we disconnect hoses? We know that it can freeze a pipe, but explain, especially on a frost-free, explain what happens and why it's so important to disconnect that hose.
Okay, so what happens with the hose being hooked up to the spigot outside is the last time you use it, it has water still in the hose. And so what happens is it freezes, and it freezes all the way up to the spigot, and then there's water in the spigot because the way a spigot works is it has a stem, like an 8-inch stem in it. So when you open it up, the washer is on the backside of the spigot.
This is in the frost-free ones, the modern ones.
All spigots. And so when you open it opens it up from the backside, and that's what releases the water. So if you have the hose hooked up to it and the spigot, you turn the spigot off and it freezes where there's water in the spigot all the way through the hose, and that's what freezes.
Especially because a frost free is supposed to be angled down, and that's why, since the plunger is in the back, it lets the water drain out, and that's why it's frost free.
So so the best way to know if you have that is you can kind of look at it, and it should say it on the little handle, right? Probably.
It has a
but
little
then
aerator at the top.
And if you disconnect the hose and you turn it on and then you turn it off, after you turn it off, it'll still run for a minute.
It'll drain the water out to the plunger.
Out. And that's why you want to take the hoses off in the wintertime.
And what's crazy is that you may not even realize that you broke it until springtime, you turn it on, and all of a sudden your whatever room that wall is in.
Yeah, it's leaking in the wall, or sometimes people don't even know because if it's in the crawl space, you'll never know it until it's
you
too
watered
late,
the grass.
and you done got a flood underneath your house.
Yeah.
So it's always a good idea to disconnect your hose bibs and even cover them too in the winter.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. So, how critical is that little piece of foam with the zipper thing on it?
Go ahead, Tom.
It's very critical. I mean, anything that you can protect, any type of protection towards the plumbing through the season is very critical. That way, you don't have to take care of the problems later on. So, any type of preventive.
Do we get cold enough that's necessary?
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, we should always cover them up in the wintertime and definitely disconnect the hoses.
Yeah, for sure, right? If you do nothing
Unless you
else.
want to be calling me.
I mean,
and I'll be glad to do it.
I was going to say.
I'll be glad to do it. But, yeah, if you want to save yourself some money, always disconnect those hoses and go ahead and cover them up.
What about, if you've got a crawl space house, what about the vents? Because I've heard multiple approaches to that. Some say leave the vents open because you want to, get a cross breeze or whatever through there to keep it from getting dank and gross in there.
Yeah.
Others say, no, it gets too cold,
so
close them.
What I've always went by is in the wintertime, you want to close them. And in the summertime, springtime, when the weather starts getting better, you want to open them up. So that it starts, it gets breathed and gets some air through there. But the wintertime, for sure, close them up. And that way, you don't get the cold air in there and you could freeze some pipes and stuff like that. Yeah.
And I've been told by some folks that we don't get cold enough long enough to worry about closing them.
No, we do.
Yeah, you'd be surprised what wind, just the breeze of cold air going into a single hole will do to a pipe.
Well, wind chill, right?
Yeah,
That's
the wind chill. And it don't take long. It don't take, even if we got code, one day below freezing, it'll freeze some stuff. So you always want to, that's just the rule of thumb. In the wintertime, just go ahead and close the vents, and then next spring, go ahead and open them up, let it breathe, and then just do it every year.
All right. So now let's do this one. Let's pretend that you guys are going to write a book, right? Like a homeowner's plumbing manual. Okay.
For people like me who
Yes.
know nothing.
And you're going to list 5 to 10 things. Okay, 5 to 10 things that if every homeowner would just do these 5 to 10 things, you guys would practically go out of business.
Well, one off the bat, and Michelle will tell you this: do not throw potato skins into your garbage disposal.
I did not do that. That was not me. That was my mama.
Passing the buck. Passing the buck.
Hey,
definitely
but
no
I got-
potato skins.
I got the next level garbage disposal to fix
She
that.
did.
We
She
can
got the
grind
big boy.
bone in
Yeah,
that
chicken
bad
bones in
boy.
there.
Yeah.
That's not good. She's going to turn Dexter on us if we're not careful here.
That and
So no potato skins
no
in
potato skins in
Yeah.
the
the
garbage
eggshells
disposal.
too, right?
Eggshells too.
I
And
never
then
have done that.
I
That's
always like
gross.
to tell people you want to flush your water heater out once a year. Flush, and that'll help the life of your water heater.
So give me. There's what 3, maybe 4 steps to that. Real quick, what do we do?
Really, there's not. It's turning off the cold water side on the turning off the power. I mean, leave your water open and then hook up your hose to the bottom, open it up, and let it flush out.
'Cause there's a
for
spigot
about
down at the
10
bottom,
there's
right?
a spigot down at the bottom, a relief valve. So you want to go ahead and drain it and let it flush out for about 10, 15 minutes, and then close it up, and that's it. And it lets all the settlement stuff that builds up at the bottom, it flushes it all out, and it helps the life of your
But the
water heater.
critical thing here is turn off. If it's an electric, especially turn off the
off the
power,
power.
and
Yes.
do
Turn
not
off
turn
the
the power back on until the water stops
until the
running.
water's full, and that,
Yeah,
turn
if
off
those elements aren't submerged in water, they'll pop.
they'll fry
instantly.
up.
Yep,
They'll
absolutely.
fry up. and
Yeah,
then,
they're made to be submerged at all times.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
So we've got no potato skins and eggshells. We've
Thank
got
you so much for that.
Hey,
Elias.
this is critical, man. We've got
Flushing your water
flush the water
heater.
heater.
Cover up your spigots. Take the hoses off in the wintertime.
Winterize
Cover
the
'em up,
outside spigots.
Yep.
Okay.
And then your vents on the house too. That's a good one right there.
Mm-hmm.
That way all the pipes don't freeze and stuff underneath the house and stuff. And I mean, there's different things you can do.
Install shutoffs at the water heater. I think that's a
Yeah.
big one for me. Like
Mm-hmm.
I like, or Elias and we put like to put shutoffs for the main at the water heater. That way, if something was
Why?
to happen,
Yeah.
you got a quick spot to go to. Turn the water off before it prevents more damage.
Because the alternative to that, like I have a main water shutoff in my basement. Well, it's a pain in the neck to get to.
Absolutely.
And some folks, they may not have a main water shutoff.
All the way to the road.
And you got to have one of those.
Meter
Turn-
keys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Mhm.
So that's a big
that's a big
preventive.
one right there.
Okay.
Have a shut off at the water heater.
That's a
Y'all
good
have
one.
me questioning everything now.
I'm
like,
gonna
I
guess you
don't-
have one.
I don't know what I have.
Yeah, your house is new enough. I'm gonna guess you have a shutoff.
Yeah.
I would throw in there if it doesn't have one, and if it does, make sure it works. Pressure reducer valve.
The pressure reducer valve, that's a big thing here in Rutherford County because we're growing so much and so fast. Now everybody is getting problems with the pressure in their house. Too much could bust off a water line in your house.
Well, it can do that. It ruins your
Fill valves.
washing machine or a dishwasher. Your
It can.
especially your refrigerator. That little teeny tiny line for
Ice
your.
maker line. Yep.
And now a lot of times too, by code now these newer houses, you have to put hammer arresters on almost everything.
What is that?
A hammer arrestor is a little I want to say a gadget that you put on your supply line that helps it from too much pressure on the line.
Are those the little things that look like CO2
Cylinder,
cartridges?
Like
Exactly,
CO2 cartridges,
exactly.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you've ever played airsoft or BB guns,
yeah,
the
yeah.
little CO2 cartridge.
Yeah. So it helps relieve the pressure in the line, and it gives it somewhere to go instead of pushing it into your fixture.
Makes sense.
And what year did that start? I'm making a list in my head.
Yeah, I'm not sure what year. I'm not
It's
sure.
pretty
what year it
recent.
started,
Yeah.
but now
Wow.
every new house here in Rutherford County has to have one.
Yeah.
Well, and then so that also brings me to the last one that I can think of is let's talk water heaters again for a second. So probably the most expensive single item in your house that's plumbing related, right, is going to be your water heater. And also the most important, you've got, man, first of all, call these guys if you got to replace your water heater, because again, I won't name names, but there's some that spend a whole lot of money on advertising, and it shows because they charge you a whole lot of money for a water heater install. But on that, depending on where it is, it needs to be on a stand. It needs to have a pan that will drain.
If it's inside a house.
Outside. And now you're crazy if you don't put one of the
expansion tanks.
Expansion
Tanks, absolutely.
What now? Explain to me what an expansion tank is.
The expansion tank is more like it's kind of like, got a TMP valve, which is a pressure valve, which the expansion tank does the same thing, but just keeps the pressure off of the hot water heater. That way you don't have any type of.
So basically, the physics of it, hot water expands,
correct.
And so when it's heating up, sometimes you'll have steam or whatever pressure build up.
Pressure build up, and it releases itself into the expansion tank,
and then drips back down in.
Instead of popping off at your pressure relief valve, or
expanding the tank,
or expanding your tank and busting your tank.
Exactly.
So it prolongs the life of the tank.
It prolongs the life. And that again is a code by Rutherford County to have an expansion tank on all your water.
For sure. So if somebody comes out and replaces your water heater and they don't put that on there,
they're doing it wrong.
They're doing it wrong.
Absolutely.
That's right. For sure. All right. Any other proactive stuff?
Go ahead, Tyler. You got anything?
Just just be aware of kind of be aware of things. If you see something hear something going wrong, or you think you've seen a drip or something, kind of investigate it and make sure, because people kind of forget about the underneath the sink sometimes, and when you do, then 2 months later you look up and your whole bottom of your cabinet's rotted out.
Or molded, or
molded,
or both.
And then, it's just stuff like that. And then when you go on vacation, make sure that you take the right steps to prepare for that, because you wouldn't believe how many calls you get that people went on vacation
all the junk and stuff that goes.
Wear
into it.
gloves.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It'll
is
turn
stinky.
your
Yeah.
stomach, dude.
Or
It
you
is
can
nasty.
always call Perfecto.
Or
We'll
call
do it for you.
Perfecto.
We'll
That's
do
it.
it for you.
Not only that, just please refrain from using any type of product. Any type
Women
of drink.
well,
Yeah, that's another one I was going to say. But
Yeah.
Oops.
first thing is the Drano, the stuff like that. Like, because
Really no good.
It don't do no good. It's just acid. It's just going, and
Sure wish we would have had this conversation a
once
week ago.
once you put that stuff in there, it makes it hard on us when we have to come in and it's
Yeah.
chemicals and it's it's just acid. It's
And
gonna
if you're on
burn.
a septic, it's not good for your
It's
septic
not
tank
good. No,
at
it's
all.
not.
Yeah.
No.
No.
And for the women, do not flush no feminine products
Please.
down the
Ever.
toilet. That's
Yes.
one of the
Or baby
biggest
wipes
ones.
or
Why do people not know that?
dude, it's
Yeah.
on every sign in every restaurant.
But you know what? It
In
says
every
it on
bathroom,
the
yeah.
package of wipes they're flushable, but that's bull. Don't ever
Don't
do
do
that. Don't do that.
and especially again on a septic. There's a common like people don't really understand what a septic tank is, but your tank is and should be alive basically.
Oh, yeah.
Like
The
you've got
is
bacteria.
what eats up all the stuff, and then once it eats it up, it slowly overfills and then goes into the second part of it.
It turns
and
into
then
liquid, and
it
that
turns
liquid,
into liquid,
yeah.
and then the liquid falls into the field lines on that.
So if you think about it from the perspective of there's living organisms in there, then you think about what you don't want to pour down the drain.
Exactly.
You don't want to pour down a bucket of acid,
exactly.
right? You don't want to pour a just ton of bleach.
Yeah.
And
There's
that
good
acid
bacteria and
does
bad
not
bacteria.
really work on women's hair. I'm just saying.
No,
No, it does not.
No, it doesn't.
So,
Not that I poured a gallon or two in the other week.
Everybody tries it and it doesn't work. Yeah.
Worked for a minute.
And it's expensive too. And it'll
I
ruin your
know.
clothes if you splash it on
I was
yourself.
like, yay me. I just wasted $50 worth of liquid.
Oh yeah, man. This it's been good experience, doing the plumbing here in Rutherford County. And anybody hearing this podcast, if you give me a call, 20% off on any calls that I get from here on out.
Hot dogs, there you go.
And,
Do you have a Facebook page?
I do have a Facebook page, Perfecto Plumbing in Murfreesboro. You can find me there and, reach out to me. Phone number 615-796-8746. We'll be glad to help you out anytime.
Cool. And we'll put that in the comments or in the body there and folks can find it. Well, guys, so I'm going to throw this out there. I don't know if you guys know this yet, but we are working on a kind of behind-the-scenes list of our favorite service providers. And so it'll be on our website, but it's hidden. So you only get it if you already have done business with us or you would like to contact us. It's okay to say that, right? Like it's the J Harmon Home Team Elite members.
It's very
elite.
exclusive.
That's it. But you can get on there if you want to, so you can be elite too, just like us. But anyway, so these guys, of course, are listed on there, and we'll have.
Appreciate it, Jonathan.
Yep. And I tell folks like you guys, y'all will always be my go-to, unless you screw up.
no, of course.
Now who feels attacked?
That's the one thing with the plumber. Like nobody wants to call a plumber. You don't wake up one morning and just be like, I just want to call a plumber today. There's
I can't wait for my drain to back
There's
up.
always a need.
So we
Yeah.
want we try to create instead of just providing a service, which we try to, but we want to
Right.
create like an experience.
Yeah.
Create the perfecto
perfecto experience.
I love it.
And that way, you get something out of it. When we come in, we do the work. We try to have a good attitude and realize that hey, you're having a bad day as it is.
That's right.
And anything that we can do to try to help the day and fix the things, and and just try to provide the best service and experience.
That's an excellent point. Yeah. That's excellent. All right, well, guys, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate the work you do. Glad to have gotten to know you guys before, and even better today.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You guys
Absolutely.
rock. All right,
we
Perfecto
do
Plumbing, Tyler and Elias. I told you there was nothing to be nervous about.
Yeah,
Bryan Nale.
we did it.
That's it. All right. Hey, you guys have a good rest of the week. We've got some cool stuff going on over at CGB this week. Trying to think of what we've got. Just went totally blank. But anyway, there's some fun stuff. Check out our socials. And again, if you are some of our past clients and our favorite people, We are having the parade watch party
We are.
on
You guys
Sunday.
are invited.
That's it.
All right.
So the house on Main Street.
Come hang with the coolest real estate team
That's it.
in the area.
So we'll be tailgating for that. We'll we have we're on the parade route right there. So we'll have several, lots and lots of folks, bags for candy for the kiddos, and
Oh, yeah.
I found
I
them.
forgot about that.
Yep, we got them. Don't worry, I've already found them. She's like, "Oh crap, did I forget to order them?" No, I found them. We're good. Trent, what you got? Anything? He says no. He can't talk
Bryan
to us,
Nale.
but he says no. Oh, Bryan Nale.
You're welcome.
We do need to. So one of my absolute favorite service providers that we always talk about, unless we forget, is Mr. Bryan Nale over at Primis Mortgage. And I had the pleasure of hanging out with Bryan a couple of times this weekend. And man, I just really like that guy.
I know. He's a pretty cool dude.
He is. He's an all right guy. What was it from Ferris Bueller? They think he's a righteous dude. Yeah. Let's roll Bryan Nale.
Hey, my name is Bryan Nale. I'm a mortgage loan officer with Primis Mortgage. I want to tell you that I absolutely love being a member of the Spread the Positive Network. It's such a great mission and helps bring so much positivity to our community. It's truly be a pleasure to be a part of what they do. There are a lot of ways to navigate financing a home, and in markets like this, having the advice of a trusted local professional is key to making sure you get the right advice for your specific circumstances. Whether you're interested in the purchase of a new home, second home, or have a need for a refinance, I'd love to earn your trust. If I can help you nail your mortgage, call me at 615-243-3976 or visit nailyourmortgage.com.
Primis Mortgage is a subsidiary of Primis Bank, a member FDIC, equal housing opportunity. As always, all loans are subject to approval. Primis Mortgage, NMLS number 1894879.
As again, Perfecto Plumbing.
Thank you.
We'll put their number and Facebook page. We'll tag all of that. So get the word out there. You guys are doing good work.
Thank you.
Appreciate
it.
y'all. Have a good rest of the week. Talk to you soon.